welcome to That's the Thing Accent Core, episode 0.88. It is Monday, August the 31st, and I'm Drew.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nolan.
And we're coming at you pre-recorded.
Yeah,
It's basically live because Kevin doesn't edit these.
Yeah, no, it's they keep the authenticity because that's what matters on the internet.
Transparent.
Anyway, so I want to start things off with a controversial subject.
Okay, a lot of those in the news.
Okay, yo, did you see that Ubisoft games, that Tom Clancy opening?
Yeah, we have to stop the revolution.
Yeah,
get it down.
Okay, so they made a Tom Clancy mobile game. I retweeted the intro because I didn't believe it, and then I watched it, and they did it.
God, it's the worst.
So for context, you would have think that the Call of Duty Cold War featuring digitized Ronald Reagan sending you off to do war crimes, you would think that would be the number one sub story. And that's not, of course, that's not political at all, right? I mean, not political.
Of course not.
Anyway, but Ubisoft decided that wasn't enough. So in their Tom Clancy mobile game, it starts off by saying all of these protesting and civil unrest, they're a conspiracy by the super terror cell Umbra. And Umbra, who has like their symbols like the Black Power Fist. They literally just took the Black Power Fist, and they're saying, yeah, that's the reason why all these riots and protests are happening, and social media is getting hacked, and the only way to save it is that the government does a secret squad of agents and war criminals, and they gotta go down and shoot the protest. They gotta stop them. That's the game.
Ubisoft is a French company, isn't it?
Yes.
I expect better.
It may be the most tone deaf thing I've seen in a while.
That's what's so fascinating about it is how tone deaf it is. It made Call of Duty one look like, yeah, it's not that bad. It is though.
It makes me wonder how far along in development that game was, that they had to just basically grimace at themselves and be, well, I guess we have to put it out.
See, the thing, but I think that was a deliberate choice fairly recently, because they could have you could have changed it's the fact that they said it's the protest and the civil unrest. It just could have been like your generic, there's a super terrorist organization and they're attacking America and the world, and we gotta have our own secret agent to do a cyber war or what, like every single, that's like the plot of 90% of Call of Duties. You just could have done that.
Yeah.
Not that that's like amazing, but it's so fascinating how everyone's like, ooh, Ubisoft, what are you doing? Also,
they're not getting my money.
Well, they haven't been for a while.
I know.
They make one game.
Assassin's Creed.
There's somebody. I can't wait for the mission where it's like, team, there's someone down there spraying graffiti. You have to gun him down.
Don't you see he's doing coordinates?
Put him in the truck.
That's your.
That guy's got a white claw. Quick, get him. That's a deadly weapon.
I can't wait for the spin-off and series of games culminating in Jet Set Radio, but you play as the cops.
One of the enemies has a special attack where he throws like one of those
plastic bag.
No, one of those. I don't know where I'm going here. I want the thing where one of your guys' maneuver is that they like pull out one of those like cement like test batch things and then drop it on the ground and then take a picture of it and put it on social media, and that's their super attack.
Where's the guy that he he like touches the side of his head and like a screen comes down and it targets all the black people specifically.
Yeah.
Like
You have a support unit that just going around dropping knives next to dead bodies.
yeah, there you go. That's Ubisoft. Now, see, the problem with that is that game, while more obviously terrible, actually has a statement to it.
Satire at that point.
Yeah,
it's a satire at that point, making a point.
Yeah, like to me, that's what's unique about this game is it's so bad, but it's also walking it. If you were to push it further, then you have ridiculous, and you're like, okay, this game has a point.
So I've never read a Tom Clancy book, spoilers, nor have I played a Tom Clancy game. So I don't know if he's actually a right-wing fascist, but apparently isn't that the case for the guy who actually wrote Starship Troopers?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, like the original book? Not the movie.
Yeah, the original book.
No, not the movie. The movie is very different.
No.
Yeah, but the book, I think, is like the guy's actually a fascist.
Now, I would say Tom Clancy. So I have only played. I think I played one of the Splinters. I played 2 Splinter Cells and probably a Rainbow Six. I've never read any of the books. From what I gather, is that he is a dad fiction writer, where in the genre of here's military man doing military things, and sometimes he's civilian military man doing military things, and you're just like, yeah, okay. It's one of those things where whenever I was playing some of the other Call of Duty games, and you're like, yeah, this is just, or maybe what am I trying to think of?
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick. I was gonna say, I think it's sort of like how Michael Bay has a boner for military stuff.
Yeah. He likes the iconography, but he doesn't realize it means something.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, it does. The helicopter coming down and then the guys coming off and then shooting guns does look cool, but by seeing him, he doesn't understand why that may not be the good guy move. I get that.
He doesn't. It's not like Ghost in the Shell or any of those where you can tell these are the bad guys.
Or even for our nerd anime garbage, Metal Gear, where you can tell that Kojima does think military things look cool, and soldiers doing soldier things do look cool, but the story says, hold on a second, bucko. Maybe war isn't cool.
It's like almost a ton of creators from Japan of that generation grew up in a tremendous amount of civil unrest.
Yeah. But it's like, but yo, Solid Snake, he's cool though. Yeah, I just wanted to start off with that because before I didn't want to lose track, because to me that was so baffling. That was like one of the most baffling things I've seen in terms of unforced error. Yeah, like I was gonna talk about Call of Duty, but no,
it's the worst. I actually can't wait for the new Call of Duty where you get to distribute crack into.
That would be okay. Okay,
Mason, we gotta put the crack down in the streets.
Now if it turned into like a Black Dynamite-esque like thing,
holy. Oh my god, I played the shit out of that game.
Or if we went full Kojima and the final thing is you're on top of the White House having a fist fight with Ronald Reagan, then I'm in. I am so in. Activision, you got me. Charge that $70 for that game. You do it. You deserve it.
You should have found me out. But it's just you and me here.
Let me show you why they call me the Gipper. It's like, what?
I'm playing to end this with my hands.
He gets huge like Senator Armstrong.
I think he's like he's a revolver ocelot.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Because I could see him pulling like 6 bullets, enough to kill anything that moves.
It's like shaking. You're
Oh,
mine.
that'd be cool. See, like,
Killing
no.
Ronald Reagan? Yeah, that'd be sick.
Well, it's, yeah.
Finally, and we're not limited to Lee Harvey Oswald. Anybody can experience it.
Dear YouTube, I mean clearly in a video game.
Clearly in a video game.
Clearly in a video
Reagan's
game.
already dead. We can't kill a dead man.
No, that's the Call of Duty Zombies mode, where he comes back.
It's just all Reagan.
No, it's all the president. They're all back. Yo, I mean, think
Posted a really good picture today.
what was that?
It was so was it the Black Ops 1 you get to play as Kennedy in the zombie match?
Yeah.
And he goes lock and load, and someone just put JFK from Clone High on it,
Oh, that'd be sick.
and I fucking lost my mind.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Oh my god.
I'd be down. So anyway, anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Because that.
I'll let Drew go first if he has anything.
You got something, Drew? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's just Discord's still weird. Like, I can't switch to a different tab on my phone without Discord going totally quiet on me.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. I reread Things Fall Apart. Now seemed an appropriate time to read such a book.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that is either.
Oh, it's a West African novel by, I'm sorry for this pronunciation, Chinua Achebe?
Yes? I don't know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And so we had to read it in high school, and I remember like thinking it was whatever at the time. But since I moved into my new place, my roommate had a copy of it, and I was like, well, let's reread this. I remember reading 100 Years of Solitude in high school and liking it, and reading that a year ago and thinking it was whatever. So maybe this book has also flip-flopped. And it has.
Give me the plot synopsis.
Okay, so part 1 is talking about Okonkwo, a mighty strong man in West African village. And it is the story of him, like, building himself up in his village, his 3 wives and children. And then at the end of part 1, he accidentally kills another man when, like, his shoddily constructed gun explodes.
Oh.
Yeah, so part 2 is him in exile at his motherland, in his motherland village. And basically at this point we start finding out the white man has shown up in his home village.
Oh.
And part 3 is him returning to his village and finding out how badly things have become.
Oh. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and it's by a West African author, so it's authentic to the area. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like, it shows how unread I am, because when you're saying about books you read in high school or middle school that you thought were or kind of bad, and then as you got older, were like, actually, that was okay. I think mine's The Giver, where I thought The Giver was super lame, but in my olden times, I'm like, you know what? I get it. I understand kind of what's going on there a little bit better.
Yeah, I still haven't read The Giver.
You don't need to. It's just I would say it's one where adult me is more sympathetic, whereas child me did not understand because Spider-Man wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Or like
Spider-Man and The Giver, not that different.
No. Didn't Spider-Man wasn't about a future society who's like one person is cursed to understand what the horror of war is so that no one else may repeat it. And I'm like, oh, that's actually really sad. That society fucking sucked. I wouldn't want to be that guy. Because I remember, it was I'm like, man, that sucks. It was just kind of, I thought it was boring. But the more, it's one of those, the idea of the giver, where you have this society where all the, the kind of post-apocalyptic bad emotions or whatever were stored within one person so that they can kind of know if shit starts getting real again. So the whole point is that one kid is chosen. I may be wrong on this, so whatever. But it's just yep, you got to know what all the horrors of the old world were. So if ever it comes back, you can basically call them out on it. So here you go. And it was one kid basically being outsized from all of his friends and whatever, because it's yeah, they don't understand. There was a scene I remember distinctly where the kids on the playground were playing war, and they're pretending shooting each other with like sticks and shit. And our main character's like, I can't handle this because I had to see murder. And
he has PTSD.
Yeah, and he's like, no, stop doing that. And they're like, what? It's just a game. Who cares? It's like that isn't real. It's like it was super real. I can't handle it. In the end, he had to leave. Spoilers for The Giver. In the end, he found out that his father's job was being a releaser, aka someone who just purely murders people because they had any genetic or whatever disorder. They would just send them to the release. They said they get released because in the future society, it's nah, you're just dead. They just kill you. And he's like, oh, fuck. Because they were basically saying, yeah, you're it was something like the new baby in the family, your brother or something, had diabetes. So you gotta go. And the kid was like, fuck that. And he abandoned the society. That's The Giver.
Yeah. Lois Lowry does it again.
Does it again. Number the Stars. That was a good book. Was that Lois Lowry?
What?
Number the Stars?
I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe. Listen, I just know her name for The Giver. Talk to me about Kate DiCamillo.
Who was that?
Because of Winn-Dixie.
Oh.
And the Tale of Despero.
I don't know. We didn't have Tale of Despero.
That one I just know because I saw the movie. It was the mouse in the medieval times.
Yeah. All right.
The completely original idea no one else has ever done before.
No one's done it.
Ever.
No one's done it. Okay, so since we're talking about old ass literature from the long ago.
Can I interrupt with one quick question?
Yeah.
If you see the New Line Cinema logo hit, what is about to come on the television?
Oh, God. It's either... Oh, crap. My brain... I want to say...
What do you got, Nolan? While Kevin thinks, what do you got, Nolan?
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I want to say it's
a New Line that I guess I really liked.
I want to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
See, I've got two.
All right.
It is either it's either a horror movie, like Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th, or it's Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's it.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Oh,
you nailed it. It's Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
I read through that intro in my head.
Oh, I
the
can
second
see it.
Yep, and then you hear them yell Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat. I watched. Did I talk about me when I watched the DC, not the DC, the Warner Brothers animated Scorpion's Revenge cartoon?
I
I
don't think you
think
did.
so. Oh, okay.
Because it was good. It was pretty good. It was give Scorpion the face turn, because at the beginning he was just a skeleton ninja, but now you're like, he's the hero of all of Mortal Kombat, and everyone's like, yo, how sick is Scorpion? And he's there, and you're like, oh man, he's so cool.
Here's the problem: they had to run him back to make him the good nice guy, because he's done some dirt.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
they made him an anti-hero. I was going to talk, so before I got distracted, I was going to say,
the long ago
in the
literature.
long ago literature, I wanted to know.
Are you going to talk about Goosebumps?
No, I'm going to talk about Hatchet.
Oh, yeah.
Hatchet.
Brian's Winter and Brian's Return.
The king of elementary literature is Hatchet. Gary Paulson.
Oh my god!
On top his golden throne. Because, man, I remember everyone was like...
I pushed that to the back of my mind. Oh my god!
I distinctly remember, like, everyone, whenever we were always in, it was in 4th grade, because everyone's like, here's another book. And we started reading Hatchet. And everyone's like, yo, Hatchet! We're in there. Everyone's like, oh, Hatchet, it's so sick.
So I think Brian's Winter is better.
I like. Okay, so yeah.
So for those not, yeah. So for those not familiar, Hatchet is a young boy is in a plane crash in the Canadian wilderness.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like it's the forest part of Canada.
Yeah, and the pilot dies. He's the only survivor, and all he basically has to help him live is a hatchet.
The titular hatchet.
Yes. He, spoilers for Hatchet, eventually pulls the radio out of the sunken plane in the lake.
Yeah, like he pulled. It had like a. Okay, so I may be mistaken, but he goes he dives down. He gets like the supply chest. I want to say he makes a fire, and then someone sees it. Or am I thinking of another one? And then I remember because at the end he had effectively.
Are you combining that with like the book where the kid's stranded on the island with the blind man?
No, I may be conflicting that with Brian's Winter, because I can. Okay, so Brian's Winter is the true sequel, and Brian's Return to me is like the there was a diverging Hatchet timeline.
Yeah.
One was...
But so Brian's Winter says, what if the radio didn't work and he didn't get rescued before winter?
Yeah, I like that one better. I would agree.
Yeah.
Was that the one the bear shows up?
The moose shows up,
Okay,
I think.
yeah. It was like some big-ass fucking animal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit. Yo, Hatchet was sick. Number one with a bullet. That's the best.
Is there...
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I would put to actually compete with Hatchet.
No, I can't.
I mean, there's the obvious ones, but nothing hits Hatchet hard.
What about the Little Prince?
No. See, like, to me, in terms of like elementary, like number 1 was Hatchet, and then tied at number 2. I'm going to give it to it. I think Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry was number 2. I really liked that book.
Hold up, what's the Diary of Charlotte Doyle?
Never read that one.
No, never read that either.
Oh, okay.
And then I would put Number the Star. Oh, okay, I guess I gotta put Giver at number 3. Number the Stars is up there too. I can't remember that one as much though. So I guess that puts it at below.
I don't think I've ever read Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry.
Oh, it's great. I love that book. I
What
love the
about Bud,
sequel.
not Buddy?
Didn't read that one. Oh, did I read To Kill a Mockingbird? And no, that was I think that was a high school.
That's like
high school.
Yeah, that's a high school book. That was like Ethan Frome.
That's like 9th grade. Yeah.
Fuck you, Ethan Frome. I think that was the response everyone had reading Ethan Frome was fuck Ethan Frome. He sucks dick. He's terrible. The whole point of Ethan Frome is he wanted to cheat on his wife, and then he did, but fell off a sled, and then lost everything. Fuck you, Ethan Frome. Get owned.
I don't think I've ever read this.
That's like the story. It's really boring, and it's just about him as like, I'm Ethan Frome. I hate my stupid wife. I hate her. I want to go cheat on her with this maid woman or whatever. But then I fell off a sled and got like semi-paralyzed, and now I'm stuck with my wife who hates me because the other woman also hates me. Fuck him.
So I got a couple contenders for you, Kevin.
All right.
First are 2 authors, Mr. Roald Dahl and Mr. Shel Silverstein.
Okay, you're up there.
Yeah, Shel Silverstein, yeah.
I do not think that Shel Silverstein can usurp Gary Paulson, but Shel Silverstein and Roald Dahl are very good.
And now I got Holes.
Oh, okay. A challenger has arrived. That's a okay. Okay, so here's the discussion. Is it Holes or Hatchet?
Okay, see, I also like Sideways Stories from Wayside School more than Holes. Oh, shit.
I like Sideways Stories from Wayside School, but I don't think it's like to me it's I don't know. It's not as good.
Yeah.
God, it might be Holes.
Also, I got another competitor.
What?
Oh, I got a few competitors.
What?
So the one that jumped to me off of this list, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
That one's really good.
And
So I know, like, personally,
that was
this is the book I read on my own time, and that sucker was the Redwall novels. I read, like, all of them, or a lot of them. I really liked them. I don't think, but in terms of raw quality, I don't think they could beat Holes nor Hatchet.
Ooh, okay, I'm still getting.
I think I had to put Holes over Hatchet.
I kind of think Holes beats Hatchet. It has
Yeah.
It has like Hatchet is a good story, but Holes has themes and through lines and payoffs.
Okay, so I got 2 more.
All right.
Shiloh.
Ooh. Ooh, I like Shiloh.
Children's books.
Yo, what about?
And then I think I don't know. I like this book, but I feel like this might be like the girls' version of Hatchet.
All right.
Tuck Everlasting.
I haven't seen Tuck Everlasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading it, but Lois Lowry did read Number the Stars.
Okay. I like Number the Star. I did not read these, but
And Anastasia Krupnik.
I did not read these 2 books, but my mom read them to me, so maybe that cheats. And Wind in the Willows, all of those are like fucking in me. I love those books. Didn't like the cartoon. I think that was the first thing that I'd ever experienced where I watched the movie and was like, this is not as good.
Oh, also Some Pig.
Oh, Charlotte's Web. Oh gosh, Charlotte's Web. That's one of those things where as a child I did not have like feelings for it, or I was just like, it's a book, and I didn't cry or anything. But as a 33-year-old man, I'm like I'm trying not to think about it too hard because it might get me. And I'm like, oh no, what's happened? That was the other day. Oh man, it made me feel like the lamest, sappiest individual. I'll share on the podcast where I was going out to get the mail and there was a rainbow outside and I teared up because it was beautiful. I was like, oh, quarantine's hitting me hard. I was like, oh, it's beautiful. And I'm like, oh man, I'm lame. I'm super lame. That was gonna be a comic, but I couldn't make I didn't know how to intro it. It's just panel 2 is just me saying the rainbow is beautiful.
I think panel 1 is just the rainbow, and panel 2 is you just crying.
It's beautiful. I'm a big strong man.
I think this book is trash, but A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
I didn't like. I don't think.
You're right,
I don't. I remember being.
Garbage.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I did not like Wrinkle in Time. Oh, all Goosebumps are trash. I read a bunch of them. They're all trash.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All trash.
The Japanese covers to Goosebumps.
Oh, they're sick.
Fire.
Oh man, they make those books look way cooler than they actually were.
Wait, what covers?
The Japanese Goosebumps. Because you thought Western Goosebumps art was like that sells it. Nah, man. The Japanese ones are so sick. Like the one with the evil dummy is legit incredible. Yeah. He's just sitting in.
Holy shit! These are fucking ballin'.
I know. Yeah. They're all great.
Oh man.
Japanese
stay out of the basement.
Yeah, like that human plant. I'm like, oh, that one is the one that like as an adult gave me the willies. It had that like, uncanny valley looking.
Oh, they're so good. The Ghost Next Door.
Yeah.
God, these make me want to read a Goosebumps book.
Oh man, that was one of my things I wanted to do was write like children's horror.
Goosebumps?
Yeah, because I feel like that's one where I feel like if R.L. Stine could do it, then I could do it.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, man. Do you know what book covers are just the same quality in Japanese?
What's that?
Animorph.
Yeah, Animorphs.
I think they might be a little worse.
Animorphs are sick. I think we've already talked about Animorphs on the podcast. We've talked about it many times.
Especially how it ends.
Yeah. It's still sick as hell. Great Animorphs. Good job.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think it counts because those were not ones you were forced to read for school or read to. That was on your own time.
See, most of the ones I've said are ones I had to read on my own time for AR.
Yeah, I didn't have AR. I think
Are you lucky?
Okay. Okay. So here's actually I did have AR. It was when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and it's when they were just.
For those unfamiliar, AR was Accelerated Reader.
It's the shittiest thing that's ever been done.
Yeah, it meant every semester your teacher said, well, you have to get this many points. And books were worth different point values based on their difficulty and their length.
If you want to make a child hate reading, AR will do it. I remember because, so I was in it when they were doing it. Like, I was in middle school when they were testing it out. And I remember all the point goals were super low. So Drew and Nolan, if you can remember, what were your AR point goals?
I can't remember, but mine wasn't real high.
Given this chance, I want to talk about my 5th grade experience with AR.
Oh yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where I thought I was a genius, So it was something like 30 points I had to get. And I realized I could take tests from the previous year on AR.
Yeah.
And then I made the terrible decision I just took like all the Harry Potter books in one semester for points.
Oh, that was your fatal flaw.
So the following semester, it went from you need 30 points to you need 90 points.
Yeah.
And I could not hit that quota.
I think my point goals, because they lowballed it. I remember my sister had to get like 30 to 40 points. My point goals were like 10. They lowballed it. And it was like the average point total was 4 to 10, which actually kind of makes sense because that would be about 1 to 2 books. And you'd be like, yeah, I get it. That's fine. Per like 6 weeks. And I remember my sister was like, I physically cannot read all of these books because I keep reading them and then like the tests don't work anymore.
Oh, we also got the opportunity yeah?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we also got the chance in like 5th grade to, if we read a book that wasn't in the AR system, we were given the opportunity to write our own test and then put it into the system. So I can't imagine how much a 5th grader is at choosing, well, this was an important part of the book. I'm sure everybody will remember this part of the book.
Did anybody cheat doing their AR?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Oh, dude.
Aside from taking the previous years.
Oh, I took tests on books I didn't read or books I'd already read. Like I took so I would read like one easy book and I would take the test. But while I was at the computer, I'd also go to take the test for stuff like said Wind in the Willows or basically books that I'd already read and was familiar with. Like I remember one semester I thank my mom for reading me Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn because that was my AR points. That was 6 weeks that was aced.
I traded a pudding cup for the answers to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, sick. I love it
because there's a lot of points, and I just would have been done with it.
No, I think that's great. I think and I think it's great because that system is once again is designed to make children hate reading because it punishes success. I have never seen an education system that punishes success harder than accelerated reader because you just can't do it. Also, like I want to be real. When you're like, if we want to go for like the 99% of all things are crap law, which I firmly believe, you're going to get some duds that you had to read for points. Man, I read some duds.
The only reason I started reading Goosebumps is because they were easy points and I could just blow them out.
You could just grind points out.
Yeah, I can get them out quick.
Man, Goosebumps were better than some of the books I had to read. Like I remember one, it was about like a trailer park next to an abandoned amusement park, and there was like pirates in it, and it was terrible, and I hated it. It was just the most agonizing thing I've ever had to read. Second most agonizing thing. The most agonizing
Behind
thing.
the Giver.
No, number one, and this is my controversial opinion. So I'm a nerd. I like nerd shit. I could not handle The Once and Future King. I don't know.
Oh, that book is kick ass.
I hate that book. I hate it. I could not read it. And this is me reading like Dragonlance and shit, and I'm like, I can't handle this. I cannot handle this book. I don't. It's the one that just missed me. There's always the one that like you'd think would just hit and be like, "Yep, okay." It's like no, it just bounced off.
Reread it, Kevin. You'll like it this time.
Oh man, I'd rather read that than Charlie Bone. I'm always like, I keep like waffling back and forth on just becoming well read out of spite, so I can make shitty comics about it.
About good like, books,
because those are my favorite my favorite comics are when I'm doing some high literature reference, and it's just with like, I thought my comic where I drew about Kafka's metamorphosis, but instead of turning into a bug, he turned into a Fortnite man. That makes me, I love it. And it's like,
I like your Johnny Test comic.
Yeah, jokes for no one. I love those comics the best, where it's like, okay, this is for the audience that have read Johnny Test and Hamlet. If you're in that fucking Venn diagram, and you're like, thank you, I understand now.
You know what you gotta do? You gotta make the comic that's the woman touching the meat saying, "Is this Kafka-esque?"
No, that's too inside baseball.
No, that's it's no joke, Nolan, that any of Kevin's comics are 100% better if you replace the text with "Please no meat touching, ma'am." All of his comics get 100% better.
I'm not even gonna dispute it. Like, I'm not. It's
I've been tempted to start a Twitter account that's just taking his comics every time one's posted, just replacing the text.
But you have to do it for one panel, like one speech bubble. It can't be two.
It's not the whole thing.
No. It's like you add it, because otherwise it falls apart. Except for one. You can have one where one person says "no meat touching ma'am?" and then "no meat touching man," period. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can have one. That's the thing that bucks the curve.
Yeah.
You put that one in there.
Man, I want to watch Mission Hill again now.
Oh, it's so good, dude. Okay, I've got a if you're listening to this podcast, any WB attorneys or executives, please skip a minute ahead in the documentary that we're making.
Yeah.
I got a Google Drive I can link you to that has like high quality rips of all the episodes.
Oh.
Yeah. I will DM that to you.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and also want it, at me.
Yeah, but remember, this is the character of Drew who's saying this fictional thing, not the actual Drew.
In a video game.
In a video game.
Yeah.
This is comic canon. See, the canon behind That's a Thing podcast is it's the canonical version of what the comic characters of us are talking about. Therefore, and it would be drawn that way, but I'm still afraid that YouTube's gonna flag my fucking channel if I draw cartoon characters. So the entirety of the Target Combo universe takes place in the realistic dumpster that is shown on the That's a Thing podcast. You just can't see it.
How many years after Target Combo does PJ Detective happen?
Okay, so there are 3 timelines in the Target Combo universe. PJ Detective takes place on timeline, I think it's 2. Because it's a doomed timeline. I think it's 2. This is real. I have 3 timelines. There is a splitting point, or at least there was a splitting point. Yeah, there's a splitting point at one point. So PJ Detective takes place in like timeline 2. The video game I will never make called The Death of a Useless Cowboy, that takes place on timeline 3. And if there were ever a Target Combo animated show, that's on timeline 1 or timeline A.
Oh, okay. For animated.
Yeah, for animated. So it's timeline 1 for timeline A, then 2, then 3. That's how it works. And there could be timeline V, but that's V Realms, which I will never do. That's its own thing.
It's one better than you realms.
Timeline H.
What's timeline H?
Horfo.
Oh, Horfo's constant. Horfo is one of the universal constants. Like if you're doing the Doctor Strange thing where he's seeing all timelines,
it's your Stan Lee.
Yeah, there's like how there is always a lighthouse, a man in a BioShock. There's always Horfo, meat touching, and I don't know. I don't know what the third thing is. I got to think about that one. Anything you want to talk?
Tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, what the third thing is. Anything you want to talk about, Nolan? Because I don't want to leave you out.
Not necessarily. Mainly what me and my fiance have been doing is we've just been hanging out watching movies. We got drunk the other night and watched Twisted Pair for the first time.
Hell yeah!
And that made
What's what?
Twisted Pair. Neil Breen as Neil
the fifth
Breen
cinematic movie.
Yeah, in the Neil Breen cinematic universe.
I'll just mute myself for the next 5-10 minutes.
Oh no! Look, I'm passing this over quickly because it is just go buy this stuff. If anyone's listening, it's great. I mean, it's awful, but it's great. That's the end of that. More importantly, I don't know, for some reason wanted to watch that new Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, I watched that movie.
Which is I kind of got bored halfway through.
That's okay. So I don't know. I know I've said this opinion. I think I was talking to Drew. I don't know if I was talking to you. No, the new Harley Quinn movie is worse than Suicide Squad because it's better than Suicide Squad and therefore less interesting.
I believe you 100%.
Because Suicide Squad was awful and I hated it, but thinking back on it, it was so awful that I'm like, it's fascinating. It's a fascinating movie. I was like, this movie's terrible, but I'm intrigued. Whereas Harley Quinn is like fine. It was fine.
The part that pisses me off is I can't tell what stuff is going on what day, because there's a point where I'm like, where the hell is the timeline in this?
It feels weirdly edited. Like
it's very edited.
Like I think the problem with that movie is like it cuts between like three it feels like it was shot in order and then edited out of order to be zany and weird, but it's like the movie would have been better if you just showed me in order. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's they tried to get away with it because it was like, I'm Harley Quinn, this is my story. I'm going to tell it however the hell I want. I'm like, I'd like a more straightforward story, Harley. You're kind of ruining your own movie.
Yeah.
You're not great at storytelling, Harley. I'm just giving you that one.
Also, like that little cartoon recap section in the first, I thought that was like better than the entire movie.
Yeah, because they're like, well, we can't get Joker, so let's just speed on past this.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is like inventive. It was. Oh my God. I think my biggest problem with that, and I'll sort of segue to like all the DC announcements, is that like so Harley Quinn they've.
Oh wait, actually one last thing before I get into that.
Okay.
Because I didn't like Birds of Prey, I immediately watched the Harley Quinn cartoon. That's good. If anyone can watch it, watch that on HBO Max. It's great.
Okay. Yeah, I hear good things. About
it's solid.
So what I was gonna say about Harley Quinn and like live action Harley Quinn is they've made her way more competent than I think she was ever supposed to be. Like she feel like if you were to take Suicide Squad and like the Harley Quinn movie, you'd be like, Harley Quinn is like a super soldier. How is she that strong? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she's and not like just like turn, but like in her shooting and her plans, and it's like, and then that new Justice, that Rocksteady Suicide Squad game, it's like Harley Quinn is there, and it's like I just, the whole point of you is just you're kind of Joker's sidekick, and not because you're super strong. You're just kind of there.
You're pretty much a girl with a hammer that's there to get punched by Batman while Joker's doing his thing in the background.
Yeah.
I think you mean punched by Batgirl.
That's true.
No, listen. All right, it's 2020. It's equality.
The hammers of justice. What was the quote from Brave and the Bold?
The hammers of justice are unisex.
Sex, and he punched.
Okay, so with and this will I want to talk about the new Batman look.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson looks great, and you're right. I do like the way he punches it.
Oh, I love the way
but I'm really waiting for the moment where Harley Quinn's like I'm just as good as the Joker. I deserve to be treated equally, and then Batman just like bam, 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 bam.
Oh, that'd be sick.
And then Joker's like, "Ooh, I'm out of here."
Oh no. I don't know. Like, I saw the Batman trailer, and I'm like, yo, I'm in. I think it's sick.
It looks good.
It does look. It looks like they're going more of a year one-ish like a rookie Batman. I like a rookie Batman.
To be honest, I thought it was going to be the Batman, which might be one of my favorite Batmans.
It's a good one. I like it. Was the Batman was the one where they did the Clayface subplot with
there are two clay faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show was better than people give it credit for.
Maybe one of my favorite Jokers. Just design and everything.
I still think that movie
Dr. Acula.
Dracula.
was sick.
Write it on the plate and then show it in the mirror.
But the fights in that, I remember the fights in that movie were so good. Yo, that movie, I love it. Also, I always love Dr. Acula. Dr. Acula's never not funny.
Something up with that Dr. Acula. I can't put my finger on it. Then it's always the same thing. It's where they like write his name.
Yeah, and then they see it in a reflection.
No, then they like remove the dot and like
it's Dracula.
Oh God, Dracula.
So they still hold it up to a mirror.
It's every single time. Every single time people do that. They can't just like figure it out in their brains. Oh my God.
Hold up.
Maybe it's just like there's like a stupid. It would make sense if you said that.
Alfred's like Bruce. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say if there's just like a field that Dracula emanates that makes people more stupid around him. Like that's just one of his vampire powers.
It makes him easier to trap. Yeah, I could see that happening.
No, he's just so suave and cool that you're just constantly self-doubting yourself because he's so suave and cool.
Yeah. I mean, that was like Dio. Dio's power was that he's so
what
hot.
Are you doctor of?
No, that's Squilliam's power, Kevin.
Squilliam a vampire.
I'd believe it. They're so far under the ocean, he doesn't have to worry about sunlight.
That would make sense. No, that's because would that make Squidward Jonathan Joestar and Squilliam Dio?
I don't want to. No, I'm not opening this.
I'm walking away from it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a can of worms that needs to be stay
Next
closed.
bit.
Next bit. I'm really excited for the Patrick Star show.
Oh, I'm not. I watched because Fortnite was doing their new seasons like the Marvel season, and it made me weirdly nostalgic for Marvel. I think it was appropriate. And what I gotta say is I gotta give it up to Disney for making me not care about Star Wars and Marvel. Because like when I see in Fortnite they have like Doctor Doom, and when Doctor Doom wins and you're using the Doctor Doom skin, he gets in his throne and glares at you. I'm like, that's cool.
Oh, so you put people in the blender and then do a foot dive?
Basically, like he almost has
Oh,
foot dive.
is that him jumping out of the plane? Is him just foot diving down to the ground?
It's close. It's real fucking close. So everyone has like all the superheroes. Some of them have like unique gliders or whatever. So like if you're Thor, instead of using like the little Fortnite glider, he holds up Mjolnir and kind of like flies around with it. And so does Storm.
Oh, I like it.
And Doctor Doom's looks suspiciously like when you're flying in Marvel. Like it's and you can kill him.
Magneto just using his float.
Kind of, and you can kill Storm. Like you can kill Doctor Doom, and one of the things he drops is his gauntlets, and you can shoot out like Doctor Doom blast.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's one of those things where you're like, I hate Fortnite. It's great. Love it.
This past week, while we're searching for bits to talk about, I watched Hereditary.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know about that movie.
How was it?
Because I liked it. Oh man, it's really good at making you uncomfortable.
That's why I didn't want to watch it.
That's the right choice.
Like,
I need to be able to look at a rainbow and not cry before it's time for Hereditary.
it's also very good at making you like not know where the movie's going.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought I knew what that movie was gonna do, and then he started driving his kid's sister to the hospital, and then I had no idea where that movie was going.
And then it takes that hard turn.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
Listen, Hereditary is like that first scary movie in a long time that's made me feel like somewhat like terror and anxiety about the entire situation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the thing that happens on the road, and you're like, what's going to happen? And you just see him drive home. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's out of
and
the
then
car.
on the whole ending sequence.
Well, listen, that fucking ending sequence is the best. Between like every little corner of the screen, you'll see something that you don't want to see.
Yep.
If anyone listening, if you haven't seen Hereditary already, watch that movie. It is good.
Yep.
I'm still gonna say my disclaimer: if you can look at a rainbow and not cry, you're in a good enough mental state.
Yeah.
That's my current. Listen, that's my statement. That's my mood at the moment. Where if anything, like I am strictly on like, not even, it doesn't have to be happy, but just it doesn't have to be. I don't want to feel miserable right now.
I just I saw it was available to watch, and I knew it was on Nolan's top 10. So I decided to watch it and see. And it did not disappoint.
Well, so remember, kids, your family.
Don't cry at rainbows.
Yeah, don't cry at rainbows unless you're a cool guy. Only the coolest Only the coolest and strongest mans, or womans, or people in general, look at a rainbow and cry because of how beautiful it is.
Hey, that's God letting us know He's never gonna flood the earth again
I
until the
should.
Republicans came to power.
I was like, right now, I'm down for a flood. Go for it. Go for it.
He sent 2 hurricanes at once.
Double,
upset.
double hurricane. The hurricane double Rapukin.
Yeah.
I think that'd be that's
Not like sonic boom.
okay. What if, whenever you heard the voice of God, it was Geese Howard? Like a
That checks out.
Like that's why the commandments are worded. Thou shalt not kill.
I slayed my head with your blood.
Consider that one. I'm gonna end on that. Think about it. That's a good bit. Think about it.
Later days.
Later days. Bye.